Well, I'm thinking you know more about Brittany than what you're actually coughing. I just think it's kind of odd. I think you know more than what you're telling me. So what are you leaving out?
I'm not leaving out anything, sir. There's nothing that I'm leaving out.
This is 18-year-old Bryce Dickey, pretending to be an innocent teenager after taking the life of Gabrielle Ulaki, unaware that his gig is up.
You're withholding information and being deceptive to me?
And that's when charges and stuff start coming.
Yeah.
Because in the hours following this very footage, Bryce would be arrested, revealing a sickening past and a series of disturbing clues, proving what happened to Gabrielle was far worse than what anyone could have ever imagined.
And the thing I'm concerned about is that everything you've told me just does not add up. And I think you're very smart. You know that. I need to hear the truth. The truth.
That's not good. Oh, that's a 1092. That's a body. Okay, let's get out.
I just want to let you know that we have found a body.
I'm gonna pass out. Can we get some help? Help! Oh my God!
It's around 9 p.m. on March 8th, 2020, and 16-year-old Gabrielle Brittany is spending what will become one of the most memorable nights with her dad, Jim Ulaki, at his band practice on Hillside Drive in Elko. While at the practice, Brittany tells her father that a friend is going to pick her up and drop her off at home. But when Jim arrives home, Brittany is nowhere to be found. Hoping that she may be with her friend, Jim waits for hours for her to return. But as the hours turn into a full day, she never does. By the following morning, her parents, Alicia and Jim, are frantic. Alicia calls the Elko County Sheriff's Office and reports Brittany missing, because for them, this is completely unusual. Brittany, a social young woman with plenty of friends, hasn't texted anyone. She hasn't called home. No one seems to know where she is, as if she simply vanished. When deputies arrive to speak with Alicia, they begin piecing together what happened the night before, and soon one question starts to stand out.
And now nobody can find her. None of her friends. Her phone's not on.
Okay.
Nothing. Not a friend. None of her friends or best friends. Nobody can find her. So I was trying to call her to go look at the dog, and I couldn't get her. And then he called me, and he was like, "Where the hell's Brittany? I can't get her to answer the phone." And I was like, "What do you mean? I thought she was with you." And he goes, "No, she left to go with Bryce and was supposed to be right home."
So she was supposed to be staying in South Fork last night at Dad's house.
This is from her best friend, okay? Now, mind you, Isaiah works at Subway. She says, "I am so sorry. I didn't have Messenger and download it until this morning to see your message. I talked to her a lot yesterday, about 5 times. She was waiting for Bryce to come get her at Subway, where Isaiah works. I don't know what could have happened because she tells me everything, Alicia, I swear, good or bad. She would have told me if she was running away or if she was meeting someone."
While speaking with Alicia, one name that repeatedly comes up is Bryce, the same individual Brittany had reportedly left with. But who exactly is he? Bryce Edward Dickey is an 18-year-old resident of Spring Creek who was involved in many of the same local rodeo and equestrian circles as Brittany. The two first met 5 years earlier at a local radio station contest. Over time, Brittany came to look up to Bryce almost like an older sibling, especially because of how well-behaved and trustworthy she believed him to be. But does Bryce have anything to do with Brittany's disappearance? That's something deputies have to uncover as they talk to him outside Spring Creek High School's parking lot, a conversation in which he has quite a lot to say.
So, Sunday, around 11, I started texting, got a few texts from Brittany and just asked if I wanted to hang out. I said sure, got ready and stuff. Told me she could meet me at Angel Park because she said her dad was doing band practice. And then went to town, called her when I got into town on 5th, and then picked her up at Angel Park, drove around, went up towards Mountain View, and then asked what she wanted to do. She had no idea, said, "Why don't we just go drive around in Spring Creek since we got more room over there?" So we went back over the hill, just started chatting, talked about her finishing school, how school was going for me. Kept driving around, and then we were over in the horse palace section, and my dad called me asking if I could come back home. So I told her I needed to go. Asked her if she wanted me to just drop her back off at Angel Park, and she said that she wanted me to drop her off at the high school to meet her new friend, and said her dad was going to pick her up later. So then came over here, pulled in right over there, gave her a hug and stuff, and then she got out. I pulled out and then started heading that way, and the F-150 was over there, but I didn't know that was where she was going at that time. And then got about right towards where it opens up, and then looked back, and they were both standing outside the truck. And then I got to the turnout right over there by the middle school, and then the F-150 was in motion.
Okay.
Bryce tells deputies that he did pick up Brittany from band practice. Afterward, they drove around Elko for more than 3 hours before he eventually dropped her off in the parking lot at Spring Creek High School, where she wanted to meet someone else. At first, his story may sound believable, but when deputies review the surveillance footage from the parking lot, they find evidence that completely contradicts his account. Bryce's pickup never stopped at the parking lot. There was no sign of Brittany getting out of the vehicle, let alone meeting someone else. And soon enough, more cracks begin to appear in what he's telling the cops, as they discover that he had also lied to one of the sergeants during an earlier interview.
Okay. So why did I get information that you told one of the other sergeants that you spoke to the guy over here? Why did you tell that?
I haven't told any deputies or anything that I talked to a guy over there.
Okay. You didn't tell the sergeant that you confronted the guy?
No.
You sure about that?
I am 100% positive, sir.
So you picked her up at 1:30. Where did you guys go? I mean, you said you were with her for how long?
Dropped her off at 4:30, so that's three and a half hours.
So I'm sure that you didn't drive around for 3.5 hours, because that's a waste of gas.
No, I drove around for 3.5 hours.
Okay. That's all you did for 3.5 hours? That seems really odd that you just drive aimlessly around.
That's what I do almost every day.
I just think it's kind of odd. I think you know more than what you're telling me.
I'm being honest, sir. I mean, not in a bad way, but any of my friends you can ask, that's what we do most of the time, is literally just drive around Spring Creek for hours.
I'm thinking you know more about Brittany than what you're actually confident.
I've
been doing this for a long time, and I usually can smell somebody that's leaving out something. So what are you leaving out?
I'm not leaving out anything, sir. There's nothing that I'm leaving out.
Right now is the time to lay all the cards down.
I know, because this is a serious, extremely serious thing.
If I come back and I find out that you're withholding information and being deceptive to me,
then that's when charges and stuff start coming.
Yeah. You say it was right over here and then you drove out that way.
Yeah.
How do you see the stickers in the back window if it's parked over there and you're headed out that way?
No, because I came in, followed the Maverick way in, because I only go into the Maverick way because I don't like that turn off.
Okay.
So I came in on the base and then pulled in from here.
Okay. So you came in the Maverick way. What time was that, you said?
I dropped her off right around 4:30.
It's now clear to deputies that Bryce may be a person of interest. None of the statements he has made so far seem to add up, nor do they provide any credible explanation for what happened. But before Bryce can continue with his story, his mother joins him, completely unaware that deputies have now begun to suspect her own son in Brittany's disappearance. And if you love watching killers like him realize they've been caught in the act, subscribe so we can keep bringing you more.
Was anybody able to figure out who was the person that saw the green truck?
That was me.
Oh, that was you, okay. So anyway, you described it, but sorry, so many conversations and us going to Utah yesterday was really at the time.
So yeah, he was the last one to see her, and to see her here, and he reported the green truck, kind of thing. So that's what we're just trying to understand all that. That's what we're out here doing now. We're just really trying to figure out where they went, who they were talking with, what they were talking about, who, what, where's, why's.
Before deputies can continue the conversation, they receive an urgent call. one that confirms Brittany's case is no longer going to be treated as a disappearance, but has now become a homicide investigation.
That's not good. Oh, that's a 1092. That's a body.
Yeah.
Let's get out.
Yep.
I can see enough right now. Looks like a girl's hand. Let's back out.
Hey, Nick. We got a female body. We have a female body. I don't know if it's her or what, but we have a female body out behind Burner Basin.
3 days after Brittany is reported missing, volunteer search parties searching the high desert terrain between Elko and Spring Creek find Brittany's dead body in a state too horrific to describe. She had been covered in a heavy-duty blue plastic tarp, indicating that whoever did this went to great lengths to prevent her from being found. Investigators later determined that she had suffered a violent assault, and her cause of death is identified as multiple stab wounds inflicted by a sharp object. However, the hardest part for investigators now isn't finding who killed Brittany, it's having to deliver the devastating news to her parents, especially her mother, Alicia, who shares an incredibly close bond with her daughter.
I was on the phone, okay, and I just want to let you know that we have found the body.
I'm gonna pass out. Can you get me some help? Can you get me some help?
Yep,
Can
there's
you
some
get me
people.
Oh my God, give me some help.
This is the kind of news no cop ever wants to deliver to a parent. For Brittany's father, Jim, it wasn't easy either. He admits that at this point he can't even see a father and daughter together without breaking down in tears. However, for investigators, this emotional moment only strengthens their determination to find Brittany's killer, and they already have someone in mind: Bryce. Bryce is soon called in for interrogation, but this time things are different. Detectives now have evidence that connects him to Brittany's murder, evidence Bryce has no idea they have.
Like I said, you're not under arrest. At this point, you're not even really a suspect, okay? But like I said, Jack, because of the nature of the investigation, we got to make sure that we everything's smooth, okay? So I got a little bit of the story as to what your involvement was, but I'm not clear on a lot of things, and I'm just trying to do the best job that I can do. So hopefully,
Ask you a question when you're that.
Perfect, man. Thank you very much. First one was your how old?
18.
Okay, what's your it's BRYCE? Your middle name?
Edward, right?
You understand the nature of what we're investigating, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if you tell me things that you're afraid might get you into trouble, just understand that that's not what I'm here for.
Okay.
Okay? There is almost nothing that you can tell me today that is going to result in you going to jail.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So if you tell me that, hey, I was out in the parking lot and I shot up okay, cool. How was it? Yeah, all right. I'm not taking you to jail for it. All right. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. I spoke with the detective that's kind of in charge of the case and kind of got a brief rundown of, I guess you had picked, she goes by Brittany, right?
Yeah.
You had picked her up somewhere in town.
The Angel Park.
You picked her up at Angel Park?
Yes.
Okay. So let's kind of back up a little bit. So how was it that you knew to pick her up? What was going on that day?
I was just hanging out at home, and then we were Snapchatting each other.
Okay.
I think around 11. And then we were talking, and then she asked if I wanted to hang out. So then I told her I'd get ready, and she told me their dad was having band practice. So she said she'd meet me at Angel Park.
Okay.
And then that's when I headed into town.
Okay, so you weren't hanging out with her previous to that at all. You were just talking to her on Snapchat.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So talking to her on Snapchat, and she was with her dad at that time, if I understand right.
As far as I knew.
Okay. So you did see her dad, so you don't know for sure.
No.
Okay. All right. She said she was with her dad anyways. If that's how I understand it.
I believe so. She just said that she was in town with her dad at band practice.
Okay.
What band does he play with? Yeah.
I don't know. I know it's a metal band. That's why.
Okay, so she tells you she's in town band practice. Now, what was kind of the nature of that conversation? What's your relationship with her?
Brittany's been one of my closest friends since probably my 7th, 8th grade year.
Oh, so you've known each other for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
No, and that was one of the issues we had with the truck previously is that we were going over because her name on my phone is Little Sis because she's called my big brother since like freshman year. And then he kept asking me, well, if she's Little Sis, why didn't you know about her? Because there was questions that I didn't know the answer to.
Okay.
And he kept digging me on that.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll get there. I guess. Yeah. Okay. So she's texting you. Did she text you first, or sorry? When I say text, Snapchat. Did she snap you first?
I was just saying Snapchat, so I could be specific.
Okay. Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
I honestly don't remember who texted first.
Okay. Okay, that's okay. And what did she say? Do you remember kind of how the conversation went? Was it? And what I'm getting at is, are you guys in any type of dating relationship at all? No. Okay. So it wasn't like, hey, let's go hang out and go party.
No.
Okay. All right. Nothing like that.
Just because Bryce saved Brittany's number as Little Sister in his phone doesn't mean he actually saw her that way. In reality, he had developed feelings for her and expressed them on multiple occasions. But Brittany rejected him, making it clear that she saw him as nothing more than a brother. Knowing that Bryce may not be telling the whole truth about their relationship, detectives decide to dig deeper, asking him whether his feelings for Brittany had ever gone beyond what he had previously admitted.
Have you guys ever been into an intimate relationship? No? Nothing besides hugging and just no kissing or friends with benefits or nothing like that?
Okay. So one of the things that we like to do, just because we want to be thorough, man, all right, as best we can. It sounds like you've got a lot of really good information that's, I think, is going to be very helpful for us. And you've cleared up a lot of stuff for me already.
Okay.
Because a lot of the stuff that I was getting from the deputies, I'll be honest with you, I was getting a little frustrated. And again, it's not my case.
Yeah.
Okay. Not my case. But a lot of it really wasn't inconsistent. It wasn't driving with me. But having talked to you now, it makes more sense for me. Like I'm able to wrap my head around things a little bit better, so I can understand where you're coming from now.
Okay.
So I appreciate that very much. So one of the things that we like to do, just to be thorough on it, to make sure that, like I said, we cross all the T's, dot all the I's. Is there any reason whatsoever? Because obviously in these situations they go for more, right? Is there any reason whatsoever that they would find your DNA on her or in her?
No, nothing. Just besides maybe like this bag of hair or something on her jacket, there would be nothing else. No.
Okay. So nothing like that. Okay. And then is there anything on your phone that you would be concerned with us finding?
No.
No. Okay. Do you have any problem if we take a look at your phone just to make sure that we're good to go? Right.
Yeah.
All right. So what this is basically a consent to search form. It just basically gives us authorization to kind of look at your phone and make sure that everything is driving, everything's good to go, right?
Did she ever use your phone at any time?
No. Okay. Cool.
Soon Bryce signs the consent form, and with that he hands over to detectives the clear digital footprints that link him directly to this case. When detectives search his phone records and location history, they find that Bryce was with Brittany until the very end, in the desert, where she was eventually found. To cover his tracks, Bryce had even sent Brittany a message on Snapchat after her death, asking whether she was safe. After returning home, Bryce continued to maintain a close relationship with Brittany's family, not to console them, but for his own selfish reasons. He wanted to keep track of the investigation and find out whether suspicion was beginning to fall on him. And during those moments, Alicia, Brittany's mother, received a text claiming that Brittany was last seen with a man named JT, a message that investigators believe was most likely sent by Bryce himself in an attempt to divert attention away from him. And if all of this digital evidence isn't enough, detectives ask Bryce to provide a DNA swab of his own, which could seal the deal.
All right. So if you don't mind, I'll get going on that real quick.
Would you be willing to submit a buckle swab just for your DNA? So it's essentially just 2 Q-tips. You can do it yourself. They're a Q-tip about as long as this pen. You rub it on the inside of your cheek, and then take the other one, rub the inside of the other cheek. We put it in a box. That way, we have your DNA. It's suspected, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was some activity, what they're suspecting. Not saying that you were that person and you have no reason to have your DNA in there, but you're the last person that we know of that was with her when she was alive.
Yeah.
Basically, for you, I'd almost feel like an elimination. Couldn't look at it. This isn't our dude.
No, I have no problem.
Okay. I'll get another form for that, and you can get that over as well, and we'll do that later too.
Okay. I have any questions to that.
Okay. Yeah, and like I said, it's suspected that there was something with her, and if you have no reason, you didn't kiss her, you hugged her, but there's no reason for your DNA to be in her person.
Inside.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
And I don't know if I'm allowed to ask this, but I'm not quite sure. For 20 different things yesterday, are you allowed to say how she was?
I do not know that.
Okay.
I have no idea.
I didn't know if you guys knew, because I've heard 20 different things, and the next one person or the other. So.
I've heard a couple different things, and I don't know what is the truth, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Like Detective Sergeant Drake said, it's not even our case. We're just trying to help them.
Bryce then submits his buccal swab, and after a few days, along with the digital footprints already collected, detectives find DNA evidence that now confirms that the person who took Brittany's life is someone she once considered a brother. Bryce is then brought in for one final interrogation, completely unaware that he is soon going to be arrested for murder.
Well, tell me about Brittany. What's she like?
You're gonna have to ask a question, because that's a lot. Brittany is not in like a bad way or anything, but I mean,
right. Well, what was Brittany to you?
Honestly, Brittany was my little sis. Like, I've known her since 7th or 8th grade. One of the closest people to me. I didn't even start calling her. I called her little sis for about the last 2.5, 3 years, but she called me big brother since probably about right after the first year that I met her, but one of the closest people to me. She was, a lot of people didn't like her for a lot of reasons, but she was very blunt and kept to who she was, even if a lot of people didn't like that. So that was why a lot of people in Spring Creek didn't like her, just because she was extremely honest. No, she was always happy. She would get in a lot of like actual fights, but then a month later she would be best friends with the person she got in a fight with. She knew almost everyone. Seemed like there wasn't somebody in this town she didn't know. But she was extremely sweet. Pretty much always had a smile on her face. I haven't met anybody that's actually like had intentions to hurt Brittany.
One other question. If you could say something to Brittany, what would you say?
Easy. I love you. That'd be the first thing I would say.
What about the second?
No, I'm sorry. Because I kind of blame myself for all this. Even though, well,
blame yourself.
I mean, I know that I didn't know what was going to happen, but I mean, I'm the last one that freaking saw her before she's dead. And I mean, her mom even made me promise that I wouldn't blame myself, but kind of still have.
Now, just out of curiosity, and we promise we won't tell your girlfriend, had you ever been?
No, I got that question the last 2 times. Brittany and I have never been intimate in any way. I mean, like, a lot of people get the wrong intentions, because, I mean, I do it with all my friends, but, like, calling my female friends love and stuff like that, but that's just kind of the way I was raised, in a sense, the grammar-wise. But Brittany and I have never had a relationship or have been intimate in any way. That's why my girlfriend was comfortable with her, is because she never flirted with me or anything like that.
Unfortunately for Bryce, that's not how his girlfriend sees him. But before we move to that, If you're wondering whether he expressed his feelings to Brittany while he was still in a relationship with his girlfriend, the answer is yes. Bryce was in a relationship with a girl who later gave detectives a sworn testimony that revealed a very different side of him, one that was far from the good person he is pretending to be. In her testimony, she states that Bryce had treated her inappropriately and continued to pressure her for physical intimacy even after she made it clear that she did not want it. According to her, this happened 4 times, with the final incident taking place on the exact night when the Spring Creek community gathered for a public candlelight vigil in honor of Brittany, the missing victim.
Is there any way that your DNA could be associated with this case in any way?
No.
No? Okay. Well, I'm kind of confused about a couple things. So round 1, you pick her up at Angel Park, and then you come into Boyd Kennedy Road entrance to the school at about what time again?
Around 4:30.
About 4:30. Okay. So we got some surveillance footage from Angel Park. This is the camera, and I know, forgive me for the blurry photo a little bit because we cleared it out. But down here is the time, and that was 15:20.
Yep. I don't know what time it is.
3:20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2 hours military time.
Okay.
2 hours after you said.
Yeah, so it's a little bit later than what you said, so I'm just kind of confused, and I want to clear that up with you a little bit. Because that's her walking across the street. And is that your truck?
Yeah, that looks like my truck. I can see where they may be concerned, and I understand that, sir.
Okay. And the other thing I'm just kind of confused about, okay? And like I said, I just want to clear this up with you. That's all. This is some footage from Maverick across the street. So this is some surveillance footage from the front of the store showing Boyd Kennedy Road. Okay. So if you look right here, you can see. Let me come over here. So right over here.
Right there.
Yeah, right there. Oh, that's your truck right there. About.
Is it smushed together since it's so far away?
Yeah,
I think so. Because I have a long day that's all I know.
Yeah. So this is the Boyd Kennedy Road right here. That's your truck.
Yeah.
That's your truck going down Boyd Kennedy Road.
Entrance to the middle school and stuff is right here. That goes into the parking lot. And then there's the wrestling gym, which is right there. And then it cuts right and goes right to the middle school. Okay. So that's what I went through.
That's not what you said.
No, I said I went through the Boyd entrance. I didn't.
Across from the Maverick.
Yeah.
What if I told you we had surveillance footage that appears your truck kept going out Boyd Kennedy Road?
I didn't go down Boyd Kennedy Road.
And now, the darkness slowly starts closing in on Bryce. Detectives confront him with surveillance footage that tells a very different story. It shows that he never stopped to drop Brittany off, but instead, he took Boyd Kennedy Road and drove 7 miles straight to Burner Basin. With the pressure now tightening around him, Bryce slips up and tells detectives something that puts him in a very bad position.
I just want to kind of clear everything up and get your explanation for this, okay? Because you seem like a decent guy. We've been sitting here chatting and stuff like that, okay? And I just want to kind of help you through this so that way we can kind of explain this stuff. Okay. So with these, you can kind of see from my perspective when I'm looking at this what that looks like, right?
Yeah. No, I can see 100%.
Okay.
Kind of in the middle. I got startled after the third cop I talked to, the one that called me down to the high school, because called me a liar about 3 times and kept asking me if I killed Brittany. So
somebody asked you if you killed Brittany?
A deputy did.
Bryce is referring to the same deputy who first interviewed him in the school parking lot, but what he doesn't realize is that the deputy was wearing a body cam, and throughout that entire recorded interaction, the deputy never once asked Bryce if he had killed Brittany. And now detectives use that slip-up to pressure Bryce, and this time he finally breaks the silence.
It is what it is, okay? That's why I'm trying to sort through it, okay?
Yeah, so when he had talked to me and I went down Boyd a little bit, but not far, and then I took that first left off of the Boyd Kennedy, which goes straight back to the right to the bottom of the trailer section, and then went back to the high school, but being at Boyd Kennedy at the same time, which I'm missing it worried me because I didn't want him.
So
I lied because I was scared of people thinking it was going to be me, which a lot of people still do.
That's understandable.
You're the last person to see her alive.
Yeah, which honestly scares me, but I see that there's issues with me not telling 100%.
You need to be 100% honest. You need to let everything out.
So when you said you took that first left off of Boyd Kennedy, was Brittany in the car with you at that time?
Yeah, she was.
Okay. I have one other concern.
Okay.
Okay. We located some items, or an item. Okay. Do you have any idea what that item might be?
No.
Okay. What if I told you that it had both yours and Brittany's DNA on it?
What would that be?
Do you have any idea?
No.
Now's the time to be truthful.
I'm being 100%, sir. I don't know what you're referring to.
And you told me before that you and Brittany had never been intimate.
No.
Okay. What if I said I had evidence that shows that that might not be accurate either?
I'm not lying. I've never kissed. I've never Brittany. Besides hugging and I've never had any intimate relationship with Brittany.
Okay. Have you ever watched TV and seen DNA comparisons?
No. I mean, I've watched crime shows, but haven't really paid attention to it.
So, you gave a DNA sample, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and we found Brittany. And we have Brittany's DNA, we have your DNA, and we...
That can't be.
It is.
Listen.
I've never Brittany, I swear. I've never Brittany.
Okay. So then explain to me how...
I don't know. I'm freaking out right now because I've never Brittany.
Unfortunately for Bryce, his promise isn't going to hold up against DNA evidence. After several days of thoroughly searching the area where Brittany was found, investigators uncovered a used contraceptive, a set of keys, a lanyard, and chewing tobacco. And to make it worse, Bryce's DNA wasn't just found on the wrapper, it was also found on the chewing tobacco. The evidence is now painting a much clearer picture, and for Bryce, there is nowhere left to run.
You know, I've been truthful with you, okay? And I know this is really stressful, okay? I can't imagine where you're at, all right? But we'll get through this together, okay? And I need you to help me help you, all right? And the biggest concern I have is you could see that we have some footage that kind of contradicts what you said.
Yes, sir.
We covered near Brittany's body. And it has DNA on it with both you and Brittany. Okay? And you told me that you guys had never been intimate. All right? There's only one way that DNA could have gotten off the way.
I'm aware of that.
And you have a pattern now of lying. You were deceptive to Detective Fisher because you got scared. You just admitted that.
I admitted I was scared.
And your timeline doesn't match up. The other people we've talked to, their stories don't match with yours.
What do you mean they don't match with mine? Am I allowed to ask that or no?
No, absolutely.
No, you can ask.
Yeah, there's just some issues with the time, okay, and things like that. But the thing I'm concerned about right now is if you were in my perspective and you looked at all this, what would you think?
That I did it to Brittany.
Okay. If you were me, okay, how would you explain?
I don't know.
If you were me looking at that as a detective, what would you make of it? Okay?
Exactly what you guys are thinking right now.
Okay, because here's the thing. If I don't know what happened. I can't help you out any more past this point. I can't help you figure out the truth. Tell me the truth. Okay? We need to get through this together. And I need to hear from you what happened.
Okay.
Okay?
Wait, can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
You guys trying to get a confession of me killing Brittany?
I'm trying to figure out how your DNA got on the inside that has her DNA on the outside. I need to figure out what happened with it.
Our job is to work as hard to prove innocence as it is guilt. If you didn't do this, we'll work to the end of the earth to prove that you didn't do this. Okay. But that requires 100% honesty on your end.
Bryce is right about one thing. The detectives now want a confession. With his DNA found on the wrapper and tobacco, it's becoming increasingly difficult for him to explain how those items ended up at the scene if he truly had nothing to do with Brittany. And soon enough, Bryce starts confessing. But even as he does, he's still trying to cover his tracks.
There's a lot of faults in him, I'm aware. It was extremely odd. Brittany was being literally the only time Brittany was being really flirty for some reason throughout that day. So we kissed, and I had gotten was through. I'm telling the truth. That's where it happened.
Where what happened?
Where Brittany and I had, I don't know, does that count as sexual act? So that is where Brittany.
Okay.
And then straight after, I went straight to the trailer section, and that was it.
Even if for a moment we take Bryce at his word and believe he only forced Brittany to do what he claims, one question remains. How could he do something like this to someone he considered his own little sister? But as the questions surrounding his actions continue to pile up, Bryce finds himself boxed in from every angle. And with nowhere left to turn, he goes on to create an identity, one that in reality doesn't even exist.
Did you ever have any sort of intercourse otherwise anywhere else with Brittany?
Just besides like 2, maybe 3 kisses, and that was about it, honestly.
Okay.
There wasn't much. It was almost didn't seem real in a sense, because she literally just asked if I wanted. It did not quite seem real, almost.
Okay. So everything we just talked about, if you were me, what would you think about all that?
I think you guys already know what I think you would think.
And what is that?
That I'm lying about everything. I mean, I'm smart enough to know that's what you guys are thinking.
Oh, I think you're very smart. From the position I sit in, okay, like I said, there's only that one chance that you have with me to tell me the truth. Because so far, you haven't told me the truth. And I think we both know that.
Sure.
Okay. And then the thing I'm concerned about is that everything you've told me just does not add up. Okay?
Okay.
And I think you're very smart. You know that. Okay? So, help me figure out what the truth is. Okay. But I need to hear that from you. You've told us several different versions. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Do you really expect me to believe that you met a guy after you guys and you just dropped Brittany off with him and you don't know who that was? You're a smart guy. I'm a smart guy. Okay.
I've met him, but I honestly don't know who he is.
So I need you to be honest with me. When we started out today, I just wanted the truth from you. Okay? And then the story changed. The story's changed again. The story's changed again. Okay? I need to get the whole truth. Because once that line crosses, we can't go back. And I can't get that truth from you.
Didn't even know the kid was back in town. It was, the Ches Randall kid is the one who picked her up. which I didn't even know he was back in town. So I swear it was Chaz Randall, because that kid's kind of distinguishable.
In reality, there is no Chaz Randall, because he doesn't exist in Brittany's life. Bryce has simply invented a bogus identity to support his claims, but what he doesn't realize is that by doing so, he only gives detectives even more questions to ask. And before they can even confront him about Chaz, Bryce does something even more unexpected. He lays the actual truth out on a platter.
Keep coming up with different stories, okay? Because with what you just said, okay, as investigators, we're going to figure out about Chaz.
Yeah.
Okay? And if that's not accurate, where would we end up?
Back to me.
Back to you. You have told a whole bunch of cops a whole bunch of different stories.
I have not told a bunch of different stories.
You need to trust me. I want you to trust me, okay?
Okay.
I need to hear the truth. The truth.
I know I'm kind of losing your guys' trust by the second here, and let's just be honest about that. Am I correct? I'm not meaning to stretch on, I'm just asking. But down there I had Brittany, and then I got done having, and then it got really quiet in the truck. It was really awkward, and I think we were both kind of like regretting it in some sort. And she literally just told me to just drop her off, and I didn't know where to drop her off, and she wouldn't tell me anything. And then we got right to the top of the trailer section, right to the houses, and then right up there, and then I said something that pissed her off, and she literally just hopped out of the truck when I was at a stop sign. I was freaking out because I felt like I had ruined a complete friendship over one dumb action, and then she didn't want to get back in my truck, and so we just sat there literally at a stop sign right where it turns back to pavement in the trailer section, just sat there talking. And then I had told her that I would drop her off somewhere, and I had gotten up there and tried to give her a hug, and she didn't want one, and I was fine with that. I understood. Then we got back in the truck, but then I just kept it in park because I didn't know where the hell I was going, and sat there and both just had steam pouring out of our ears because we were both upset. She just asked me to drop her off at her friend's house in the trailer section. I went down the side of the trailer section around the corner. I pulled up and then asked her again if she just didn't want me to just take her back to Elko, and she said no, it was fine. And then she had told one of her friends about what happened. I just don't know who it was. I dropped her off in the trailer section, and then I drove off pissed off went home, and then sat there, and then when I went back over to my mom's and I got text messages that she was missing and shit, and it freaked me because last time I saw Brittany, I was flustered and angry.
I call bullshit.
What?
Listen, okay?
You guys are just looking for a confession.
Listen,
no,
okay?
I'm looking for the facts to match up.
What facts don't match up right now?
Okay, I think you know.
But I don't, I'm lost.
Do you think we've been doing nothing for the last week?
No, I think you guys have been working.
We've talked to a ton of people. Your name has come up a lot. and the conversations they've had with you, that your stories to us don't match.
And I don't know how that is, because literally everything I told you guys is what I've told everyone.
This is what we're going to do. Okay? We're going to step out of this room one last time. Okay? When I step back in here, I need you to tell me the truth. Okay?
So you're still expecting us to believe that you dropped her off and her body miraculously appeared by some strange frequencies?
I did not kill Brittany. But imagine being in my position trying to explain this.
Well, we're trying to figure out how she ended up dead. Realize she disappeared on the 8th. You've been sitting on this knowledge without saying anything to anybody?
Because I've had the entire town of Spring Creek asking me if I've killed Brittany.
And you might as well have if you didn't say anything.
So this is the story that you're going to stick with.
Yes, sir.
And with that, detectives end the interrogation. Even though Bryce never confesses to killing Brittany, the evidence they uncover clearly contradicts his story and points to him as the only person who could have carried out the horrific attack. Brittany's parents now have to live with more than just the pain of losing their daughter. They also have to face the devastating reality that the person responsible for these horrific acts is someone they once considered a trusted friend of Brittany. In the end, Bryce is convicted of first-degree murder and assault with a deadly weapon, resulting in a 70-year prison sentence. He becomes eligible for parole in 2042. We hope you enjoyed today's video. 85% of our viewers aren't subscribed, so if this is the kind of content you come back for, just hit subscribe. It's the single biggest thing you can do to support the channel. If you want to keep watching more, check out one of the most intense cases we've ever covered right here, or catch up on our latest upload right here.